chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets. So, I don't know if you saw over the weekend, Tommy DeVito was playing quarterback for the New York Giants, right? And this is never the game plan for the Giants. They get Daniel Jones back. He dies. Tyrod Taylor ain't it. So they go to Tommy DeVito. On 4th and 3, Tommy DeVito's dad was found by the cameraman in the stadium saying, "That's what the hell you call on 4th and 3." Obviously worried about his son, loving his son. And look, that's all well and good. It was a really funny video, but is there a guy who looks more like a longshoreman in history than Tommy DeVito? What do you think about Tommy DeVito's dad in general?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito?
When I saw the picture, because I Googled him, obviously, the second you mentioned him, I was like, this dude for sure has more than one bookie, like, on speed dial. Like, this man he's a loud talker on his cell phone for sure. You know, we're talking pinky ring, chain bracelet, necklace. We're talking too much time in the sun. So I guess you get some longshoremen from that if you think. But for me, I'm like, this guy is quintessentially New York.
He's got to be New York, right? I thought there could be an outside chance of Philadelphia, but you could tell, like, he's very specific with how he makes.
This dude yells like this. He points at people with his pinky and pointer.
He is one to don a tracksuit in the mornings, right? And gets on his comfortable tracksuit and makes a day out of it. He's almost like he gets the gabagool from the fridge and eats it with his hands, Like,
yeah, he's also got like a financial advisor / accountant type vibe, like a boring money day job type vibe.
He does. So. I love that the internet found him, and he just looks exactly like, there's a still of him like this talking with his hands, and I'm like, oh dude, you're such a DeVito.
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito, Giuseppe DeVito over here, like
of the Vitos.
Of the DeVitos. Speaking of weird visuals, did you watch that video of Bill Belichick? I guess, did you see the video of Bill Belichick that's going around the internet?
Oh man, yeah, he showed up on my ring cam. He's just wandering through the neighborhood. I don't know. He kind of looks like he's lost it, like he's like senile, wandering through the neighborhoods like shirtless.
Yeah, there were some weird things I took away from the video. One, Bill Belichick's in better shape than I expected. Right? He's not like super fit. He's not Pete Carroll.
Oh, he's for sure got like standard like old man dad tits, but like, yeah, he's not barrel chested.
He's not Biff Poggi, right?
Yeah, he's not Biff Poggi.
Better than that. He looks pretty good. 2, if you really assess the environment, there's 2 options here. He's either at some sort of apartment and doing a very dad move of walking out shirtless at 6 a.m., probably looking for the paper, doesn't see the paper. Or 2, he's walking out of someone else's apartment at 6 a.m. shirtless and about to engage in the walk of shame.
That's a real like solid mental picture, like Bill Belichick, like 70 years old, like, I don't know, getting down and dirty with the ladies, dipping
real
out.
Handsy. What do you think?
Doesn't even have a shirt on.
What do you think Bill Belichick's mood music is? Do you think he's like, I'm trying to understand what romantic evening with Bill Belichick looks like, because he shows you such a little amount of personality. Do you think he's like puts on the Everly Brothers? Or
it's so funny because everything I think of, I'm like, oh yeah, it's for sure that. But then I can also picture him like totally making like this face, like, like, what are you fucking, like, that fucking guy? I don't listen to that. Like Gordon Lightfoot is where my head went, but I'm like, he also might like shit on Gordon Lightfoot, It's definitely, it could be like the Doobie Brothers.
You think he's a Doobie guy?
Doobie brother, yeah.
I could see Jerry Rafferty's Baker Street. I don't know if that's just the Boston thing I'm doing there, but
that's
like,
a good one.
Not get that trumpet, that do.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you
that song rips. That's a good one.
Jerry Rafferty slaps. That song Right Down the Line by him, also an
Yeah.
absolute banger. I'm glad we can combine. Well, if you and I are ever in a romantic mood together, we throw on the Rafferty and go.
That's it.
But I really hope it's the walk of shame because, like, let him live his
Yeah.
life, right? I mean, those Patriots, you got Kraft in the massage parlor. You got
Yeah, at least
Belichick in the south of
we're
Boston,
assuming it's
probably.
consensual.
Oh, I'm assuming it is. I just
Yeah.
like that the ring candy video popped on the internet. What a scumbag whoever put that up. Like, that's the worst. Like, you can't just let this dalliance or this tryst happen. He's not married. He's not in a relationship. He's just trying to enjoy the evening, enjoy some
Just
dalliance.
let the man live.
Yeah, do a little body talking. He does a lot of mouth talking. Let the bodies speak. But either way, the visual is hilarious to me, and it just is slaying me this week. But let's not stand on ceremony anymore. I got Al to the left of me. I got Matt right here. It's a 2-man. We're doing the cover 2 tonight, and we're gonna break down the NFL week. So, cheers.
Get them chopping.
Options are slim. I'm drinking High Noon, the black cherry, and I'm not a big fan of High Noon, the vodka ones. The black cherry one's the worst. The worst of all the High Noon flavors.
I'm not a fan of the watermelon.
Not good. I like the tequila versions better.
Oh, yeah. Like, they're not tequila High Noons. It's like a different brand, you mean, right?
Yeah. The vodka ones are fine. I don't know. It tastes so artificial.
Yeah, I've had the tequila ones once, and I thought they were good. Like, I would buy them, but I don't know where you get that shit,
No, neither do I. I know you wanted to talk about Buffalo, so I'm going to let you have the floor here.
Oh, yeah, just I think it's complete horse shit that this is the move you have to make to save face. Sean McDermott has to fire Ken Dorsey, their offensive coordinator, because Josh Allen can't stop making bad decisions with the ball. Like, I mean, I get that the Bills are having a disappointing season, and maybe Dorsey is to blame for some of it. I don't know. I'm not that in deep with the Bills offense, but to me, it seems like a real, like, got to throw somebody under the bus who's a sacrificial lamb. It's going to be Ken Dorsey.
It does seem like a cop-out. And look, Buffalo is 5-5, and in the NFL, you are what your record says you are. A lot of times. Even though I think that's a really dumb point, like you are what your record says you are. You can have hot and cold moments. There's 17 individual experiences as a team, right? And you just need to win 10 or 11 of those and get in the playoffs. And I do think Buffalo will be better, but I don't think they're particularly good. I don't think this iteration of the Buffalo Bills is getting any better. We said this before the year. They didn't get any younger, right? That's a problem. They have a lot.
What did they add? They didn't add anything.
They didn't. Gabe Davis is fine, but is he good enough?
Said, let's run it back, and this is where they're ending up. I think also staring down, being 5-5 and staring down next 4 games being the Jets, Eagles, Chiefs, and Cowboys. You're staring down early off season, like, in the face. So
yeah, they still can win that division, right? You haven't seen the Dolphins do anything overly impressive against a team that's super competitive yet, right? So, and the Jets have a very good defense, and
I mean, if Joe Brady steps in, he of the Joe Burrow LSU Tiger offense is able to step in and turn this Bills offense into what it has been in the previous few seasons, like, immediately, and they compete and win probably 2 of those 3 really tough games against the Chiefs, Eagles, and Cowboys, then this division is for sure up for grabs. But I do think it's very close to slipping out of their grasp, and Dolphins having being able to rest guys.
Insurmountable lead going into the playoffs, right? I agree with you, and I hope that happens. But I do think it was like less than a year ago, everyone was praising Ken Dorsey as like this offensive guru, the next guy up that'll be the head coach. Did he really change that much? Do you think he just like forgot how to coach, or is there unnecessary risks being mitigated, or they're not mitigating enough risks with the quarterback position? Because I'm likely to lean towards the latter there. I do think Go
I
ahead.
do know there's a struggling offense in South Florida that is willing to welcome home with open arms their their champion quarterback. So yeah, maybe Dorsey makes a jump to a college level. I don't know.
I think that would be
Considering
awesome,
that'd be
actually. I
yeah,
didn't even think about that from the offensive side. I forgot your offensive coordinator's name. I think it's Shannon something.
yeah,
But
it
the
is.
the defense looks good. University of Miami's defense looks like
Yeah,
legit. You need more talent on offense, but you guys have a great line. I do think he would be great there, and I think he'd run pro style like
yeah.
football likes to run. That's a
I mean,
great.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just like a wishful thinking, like imagine how nice it would be, kind of thing. But I do think that Shannon, what's his name, is a good enough OC. I think the issue this year was quarterback play, mostly, and uh, inconsistency with their offense. But I also think Dorsey will probably stay in the NFL. I'm sure there will be teams that are willing and excited to add him to their staff.
Hell yeah!
So
I all things considered, I'd rather coach the NFL. I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
want to do the recruiting.
it's one of those things, like it's like roster cut day when I mean roster cut day is a little bit different. It's always a Black Friday or Black Monday, what they call it, after the last game of the regular season when all the teams fire their coaches,
Yeah,
and you see all these like reporters and insiders are like, these are people losing their jobs. We shouldn't be making fun or making light of the situation. And I'm like, these motherfuckers get hired like in 2 weeks. Like these guys aren't gonna be fucking homeless. They're millionaires already. They're gonna land another gig in like 2 weeks. Like get over yourselves. And so as shitty as it is to get canned when it's not your fault, like Ken Dorsey was, he's gonna land on his feet. He'll have some opportunities.
I think so too. I think people will realize that it is not Ken Dorsey's fault, and I never thought it was Ken Dorsey's fault. I think Josh Allen has seen a little regression since the Brian Dable days, a little bit, but I
Yeah.
don't. I don't think that's necessarily the coordinator. I think he's getting riskier, and it just looks like trouble in paradise in Buffalo. You know.
So here's one thing I want to say. I know we need to get into picks, but um, Brian Dable is just a great example. That man went from being like king of the world, right? Like everyone loves you. You're a great OC. Look at this offense. You're making your head coach look phenomenal. You're getting paid well. Like everything's looking good. Uh, Next step, coaching the New York Giants, and like that. Do you think anyone hates their life more than that man does today, this very moment? Like,
Well, it's tricky because he loved it last year. He got his team to the playoffs. It's just they've been
yeah,
struck so bad by the injury bug and not having Daniel Jones didn't come back as that Daniel Jones, and now there's no Daniel Jones, and you got Tommy
yeah,
DeVito's dad while looking like at the simmering meatballs, screaming at about 4th and 3 plays. Like I don't think that's all on Dable either, but I do
yeah.
think he probably misses the good old days.
Yeah,
Like
it's just so tough to like know what you're getting into at any one team. Its situation might be great when you step into it, but a season later it could derail or vice versa. And so I just thought it was important to point this out with Dable because the Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is supposedly going to be the number one like target of teams for the head coaching position this offseason, and for good reason. But Ben Johnson, if you're listening to Chuggy Bets, just think how good you have it now, and it can just stay that way.
oh, I also did want to ask you. Sorry, I know I'm going to go a little bit off script. Have you heard the weird rumors of Dan Campbell to the Texas A&M job?
No,
Because he's like a proud Texas A&M booster, and they would probably pay him more. That would be the dumbest single move he could make. I would love him there, but like you finally have a Detroit Lions team in a city that's super proud, actually
yeah,
rolling. If you were to go to Texas A&M, that would be an absolute head scratcher.
it might
But
be like 10 years from now kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
whatever they
be
hire, whoever they hire next, I hope they go get Dabo. This
yeah.
is not the right platform for this, but we can circle back on this next week.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Again, but since you mentioned A&M, did you see that the boosters brought out a big ass check at halftime of their game? That was basically like, look, we have the money to fire Jimbo now.
I
Like
did.
100, they had these big shit-eating grins at halftime. $161 million.
Do you get it like a lottery winning when the payout's that big, when the buyout's that big? It's just like you have to walk around with a $77 million check like
Yeah,
this.
you have to endorse it and take it to the bank.
A couple other things I did want to talk about. I don't know if you saw in New Orleans, he's back. Jameis Winston is back in control of the offense, and boy, I couldn't be more excited. He's eating W's. Derek Carr got injured, suffered a shoulder injury and a concussion in the last game, and Jameis Winston came in and was just chef's kiss quintessential. I can't even say it. Jameis Winston. He completed 52% of his passes, which is not very
That's
good.
exactly the amount of passes I'd expect Jameis Winston to complete.
He threw for 122 yards. He made 2 passes that were absolutely crazy. One of them was a perfect touchdown pass, and one of them was one of the worst picks I've ever seen. And that's just Jameis Winston.
I was going to say, if you had me guess the rest of his stat line, I'd say 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
2 touchdowns and
Okay.
2 picks.
Okay, close.
He stays even, Steven. He's even, Steven, 52%, right?
Oh,
he's the man. I'm so happy he's back. I will watch New Orleans games again. There's a couple teams in the NFL I have fatigue watching. The Raiders is number 1. I don't want to watch the Raiders anymore. Like, there's nothing entertaining. It's always
for me,
Sunday night.
it's all the NFC East teams.
But like, at least like watching Philadelphia, they're good. Dallas is good. The Raiders are not good. And I don't want to watch the New Orleans Saints. But Jameis Winston on the New Orleans Saints, that's like comedy gold, Jerry. It's comedy gold.
It's like watching a car accident.
You know it's going to happen too. I did want to play a quick game with you. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's recap last week. I was real bad with this. I was a bad host. The boys had a really good picks week last week.
Oh, yeah, we had a phenomenal week. I think I had the worst record, and I was like 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
We did really good.
We had an 18-8 week overall as a team. We all won our Chuggy bets. Al was 2 games over 500. Danny was 2 games over 500. And Andy and myself were 3 games over 500. Absolutely crushed it in the NFL. That's mansion money. That's like your beach house. You just got a beach house if you were following us last week, and you bet enough in order to live, baby. So 18-8, that puts us on 184, 126, and 4. That is phenomenal for the NFL. I wish we could say the same thing for college. We were kind of floating that 500 number, but the NFL has been good to us. Let's just jump into some picks right now. What do you say, Al?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start up on Thursday night. Great game for Thursday night. We got a divisional rivalry. We got Cincinnati going into Baltimore, into the Queen City. Andy is taking Cincinnati with the points plus 3.5, and he's also taking the under 46. And it's Thursday night. You know what we do on Thursday night? We take the unders. Now, this one feels particularly bad. Under 46 does not feel great, but we're going to still take it because
I think Baltimore's been averaging like 3/4 of this total the past month, and Cincinnati finally got their act together, it seems like. So it seems like the over is probably the play, and when that happens, sometimes that means the under is actually the play. Everyone's going to be on the over, the under hits.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm hoping that the Thursday night numbers kind of work themselves out a little bit. But
I will say we've got 2 phenomenal primetime games this week for the first time probably ever. It feels like, I'm so sick of watching bad teams in primetime.
The Raiders.
We get Bengals Ravens on Thursday, and we get Eagles Chiefs on Monday night. So, I mean, there's a clunker in between there, Vikings and Broncos on Sunday night, but Monday night, Thursday night, we got some good ones.
I don't know if the Vikings and Broncos are that bad anymore either.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's like circling their calendar unless they're a fan of those teams, though, to watch that one.
Fair enough. So that's the plays on Thursday night. Let's take it to the 1 o'clock on Sunday. We're finally out of Europe. We're just kicking straight Eastern time zone here. We got Pittsburgh going into Cleveland. Al and I are in a similar play. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so Deshaun Watson on IR. If you've watched this Cleveland offense without him, I mean, even with him, they've not been great, but without him especially, they've been anemic. So I got a new theory. We've got a new theory. Cle2, it's my little robot alien voice. Cleveland team total under. That's what that stands for. And it's 17 and a half at one book today. So you and I think we're both doing this, right? Under
Yep.
17 and a half. If the Browns
Cleveland.
score more than 17 points, I will lose my bet.
Yeah, I think it's the safe move. I do like DTR. I think he can be good with time, but I don't think that time is yet.
Right.
Um, I think you're going to have a hungry Pittsburgh team that, for some reason, keeps winning games, and I don't understand how they keep winning games. They seem terrible. Um, I love the play here. Cleveland team total under 17 and a half. You probably can, I don't know what the game total is, but if it's under 38, 39, or if it's 38 or above, you could probably slap the under there as well. Probably be a pretty safe play
It's
because
probably
Cleveland.
around there because the spread's only a point.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's like 36 and a half, probably 37. Um, yeah, I love it. Cleveland team total under 17 and a half. We'll be there. All right, let's go to Detroit. We got the Bears coming into town, into the big house in Detroit. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so fading my Lions here a little bit. I'm still hoping they get the W here, but I'm taking the Bears in 8 points. It's a lot of points. The Lions. So one, this is a division game. The Lions have beat the Bears. I want to say 8 straight times. They have their number, but the Lions defense is leaky right now, and they are especially bad at getting pressure on mobile quarterbacks. They really try to focus too hard on keeping the mobile quarterbacks in the pocket and like keeping them contained, and they don't get any pressure. And so this is going to lead to either Justin Fields going off with his arm or Lions pivoting on that theory and Justin Fields breaking off a bunch of runs. And but either way, I see the Bears doing something offensively in this game. Um, so I think they can hang with the Lions a bit.
The Lions looked awesome last week. Oh God, Brandon Staley, if he was an artist, he paints in calamitous defense like Van Gogh paints in watercolors. Like it is just gorgeous how bad he is in fourth quarter situations. The Chargers last week had the fourth best offensive performance of the year. Unfortunately, the Lions had the third best.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
is like a comedy of errors. I can't believe he's still employed. He has an
he's supposed to be
obviously.
a defensive guy too, right?
Oh God, and he has talent. Like Bosa is good. Derwin James is good. They have players. Kenneth Murray's pretty good as a linebacker. They have talent
Khalil
on their
Mack.
team.
Yeah. The
Khalil Mack, yeah,
uh I think the Chargers are 1-3 in games where they've scored. I don't know if it's more. I think it's more than 30 points this season. All other teams in the NFL in the past, like, I don't know, 5 years or whatever, are combined 64-9 in games where they scored 30 plus points. And the Chargers are 1-3 this season. So
unbelievable. Yeah, but I'm with you. Chicago +8. I feel like that's the right play. I do think Detroit wins this game. Andy's in a similar boat. He's taking the Lions, but he's teasing it down to 1.5. Feels like a good play there, right? Anything you get under a field goal,
yeah,
assuming that the Lions will win in some capacity and it'll be more than 1 point. I like the move.
yeah.
Got nothing on Chargers or Green Bay. I'd probably lean Green Bay there, but I'm not gonna do it officially. We got Vegas coming into Miami. Al, what are you doing here?
So I got this at 9.5. I'm laying 9.5 with the Dolphins. I think it's now past 10 to 10.5. Or no, actually, I think didn't I say it was up to 13.5
Probably.
earlier?
I haven't looked today.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mean, I really think so. Obviously, Antonio Pierce has done a great job stepping in for Josh McDaniels here. He's gotten this team to play competitive and competent football for 2 weeks. You're going to need to do better than that against this Dolphins team. I think the Dolphins are going to really kind of reset that Raiders roster and let them know where they stand against top tier talent. So I'm expecting fireworks on the Dolphins offense, and I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to hang with them offensively. So even 2 touchdowns, that feels like about where this game's going to end, 2 or more, or this could be like a blowout. But I'll lay my bet here is 9.5 with the Dolphins.
Yeah, you really got good closing line value on that. The FanDuel has it at 12.5 now, and that's the best book I can find. So
Yeah.
9.5 feels like a no-brainer if the number moved that far. Let's go to New York Giants, led by Tommy DeVito, going into Washington and the Fighting Sam Howells. Al, what are you doing here?
I hate this. I hate that I can't stop doing this. I even have taken the Giants off like multiple times this season. But this is just too good a spot, I feel like, to get 10 points in a division game against a team that's really not that great. Like the Commanders are fine, you know. Um, but I do think the Giants should be able to hang with them in this one. I guess I'm just hoping that Tommy DeVito is able to muster something on offense. Maybe Saquon can keep that offense moving, but it doesn't feel great. But 10 points is so many points in the NFL. If there's not a Dolphins level offense involved, right? So that's what I'm doing. Giants plus 10.
Yep.
And then Andy's doing the over. I think it's 37 is where he got it. So hopefully some of those points are from the Giants.
Yeah, you need at least 24-14 there in order to draw it back. So
Yeah.
I'll be curious to watch this game. I lied. I don't care. It'll be on there. Here's a real stinker. We got Dallas going into Carolina. I kind of have a hard and fast rule that if a dog is getting more than 10 points at home, I usually take it. I do not think Carolina is as good as Dallas. I do not want that twisted for 1 second. I think Dallas is probably more than 10 points better. It's just a system play for me. I am taking the points with Carolina plus 10.5. It'll be an interesting one to put it.
Yeah, I admire your courage there because I think that's this like logically that's the right play. It just doesn't feel good.
No, it feels real bad. Dallas, the way Dallas just kicked the shit out of the Giants, I think this could be in a very similar fashion. But hey, we'll see on the road. We'll find out. Tennessee going into Jacksonville this week. Andy is taking Tennessee plus the 7 points. Feels like a sound move there. Tennessee is showing promise. They really haven't beaten anyone of substantial quality this year. Jacksonville has been going the right direction outside of last week. So don't really know what to make of this game. I'm going to take the under 40. I do know that Tennessee prides itself on still playing really good defense and not playing tremendously good offense. So 40 seems like a nice round number. If it was in the fours, I was taking the under. So barely made it, but under 40 is my play here.
Yeah, so my buddies in Jacksonville, I admire their level-headedness this week because, I think they all expected big things against the 49ers. And then when it didn't happen, they just kind of chalked it up to that's what happens sometimes, right? But like Jags fans that I follow online, man, it sounded like the sky was falling when you listen to them. They're like, like whose head needs to roll? I can't believe we got blown out by the 49ers. And I'm like, I can very easily believe that. Like I expected it, honestly. The 49ers are really good and they lost like 2 or 3 games in a row. They're not just going to keep doing that, they get their act together. So I don't think there's any shame in losing to what's probably a top 2 team in the NFL. And the Tennessee Titans are not that. So I think the Jags are going to be in great position to take out the Titans and win this one. Andy's taking Tennessee plus 7, but I'm not playing that.
Yeah, I'm leaning on the under. Look, we said this earlier. Every week is kind of like its own individual season. This feels like coach speak. But you see 17 instances of a team, and like you don't think of them as like a linear thing. Sometimes teams play really good. Sometimes teams play real bad. Last week was just a really bad performance for Jacksonville and a really good performance from San Francisco. I wouldn't think of it as any more than just one dot Low dot, and let's improve from there.
Yeah,
Man, I could be a head coach with that kind of
I
speed.
love it. I'm motivated already.
Tampa Bay going. Oh, let's kick it to 4 o'clock. We got Tampa Bay going into San Francisco. Andy is taking the 12 points with Tampa Bay. I say Godspeed to you, sir. That San Francisco team can be very fucking good, especially at home. But Tampa has a pretty substantial defense, so I don't.
So yeah, Tampa does have a stingy run defense, so give them that, and so that kind of limits San Francisco's offensive capabilities. Now, San Fran just has so many weapons that they can move around and they can just create space for really talented guys. So I don't know if that's going to matter as much as it does for other teams, but yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, if I were to play a side, I'd play the Tampa Bay side, but I'm scared to play the Tampa Bay side, so I'm not going to play the side. We don't have anything in Jets Bills. Seahawks going to Los Angeles. Andy, this game's currently a pick'em or a 1. I think you can get both. Andy is taking Seattle on the pick'em number. It feels like the right side, in my opinion. Al, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think the Seahawks are better. They're the better team. I should probably bet this. I almost added it. I probably will bet it, but yeah, I fully endorse Andy's pick here.
I like it. Let's go to Sunday night. Before we do that, I'll chug your drink. We both have a chuggy to give. You can hand me back mine in a minute if you'd like. But we've been waiting all day for Sunday night. We got Minnesota and the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, going into what is a surprisingly revitalized Denver side. Mr. Unlimited's looking more and more unlimited as things go on. And Sean Payton's cooking something since that 70-20 loss. Al, what are your thoughts here, buddy?
Yeah, so I'm laying the 1.5 with the Broncos here. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I do think the Broncos have kind of gotten their act together. Mile High is a tough place to play. The Vikings, I mean, Josh Dobbs is not going to keep winning there. I mean, I love it. I love everything he's done. It's a good team, but I don't think they're going to keep it going. So I do think the Broncos beating the Bills kind of ruins this for me a little bit. I kind of thought it'd be more like a buying low on Denver spot, but then they beat the Bills, and now I think they might. I don't know. It's kind of looking forward. They're coming off a win. They don't have to win this one as much, but yeah, I don't know. I'm on the Broncos.
I like that side too. I do think Minnesota. Look, the Josh Dobbs story is great. I am actively rooting for that guy to be good there, and as a gateway until they figure out what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins. So I'm really, really excited to watch this game. But I think that story is going to have some hurdles along the way, and I do think Denver ends up winning this game, especially at home, which is interesting with the spread number that they assume on a neutral field that Minnesota is better, which is crazy to me with Josh Dobbs as quarterback. He's done great things, but with a fully functional offense in Minnesota, maybe he gets better, or maybe people don't have enough tape of him working with the Minnesota side, and that's why it's been a little bit surprising as far as the results. I don't know. But I've been impressed with it. I'm going to end up playing a teaser here. I'm going to get Minnesota at 2, take them up to 8, and I'll pair this with my Philadelphia Monday night teaser we'll get to in a second. Andy's on the same thing. He's got Minnesota tees from 2.5 all the way up to 8.5. I think there's a lot of value there. I do think, while I don't know who will win this game, I think it stays within a 1-score game. And you have a really fun Sunday night game to watch all the way to the end, even if it was not something you were expecting to be good 3 weeks ago, as both teams have improved with Josh Dobbs and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson look good. Cortland Sutton looks good. The team's looking better there. So this should be a more fun game than we thought 3-4 weeks ago. Now to Monday night. An absolute banger of a Monday night game. You've got Philadelphia Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts and all the fear that comes with them going into Kansas City. I know what I'm making as far as the bet here. Al, you good, bud?
Yeah, sorry.
was getting to Philadelphia, Kansas City, Al. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this game in general.
Um, yeah, I didn't have a good feeling for which side I wanted. It's two good teams. I think I still don't know what I like here. So I'm just gonna watch the game without money on it and hope for a good one.
This feels like a good live bet spot. If one team jumps out first, take the other side is kind of the money spot, especially if it's Kansas City and they're the favorite. If that number starts to climb, I may bet the other way.
Yeah, like anytime if you're able to find this number at more than a touchdown, take it.
Oh yeah,
You know, like on live, obviously.
yeah.
Because it feels like this is going to be like a field goal game.
Or you can do what Andy and I are doing and tease Philadelphia. Take
Oh
Philadelphia
yeah,
plus
that's a
2.5,
smart
move them up to plus 8.5. This does have potential. Both teams have potential to blow out the other, but they also have. They're both really good teams. So I imagine this game will stay close. I do not think that. I think it's going to be more challenging to blow out Philadelphia or Kansas City. I think this will stay a close game throughout the duration of the game.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I like all the teasers that Andy's on this week. I would probably bet them heavily. That's the Eagles, Vikings, and Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on that Eagles and Vikings for sure. It feels like no brainers to me. Yeah, but I can't wait to watch that game. I can't that game I'm most excited for. I think there's money line potential on Philadelphia too. Like if they're assuming they're even considering the spread on a neutral field. Philadelphia looks really good.
I'm thinking it like I'm trying to think of like the possibility like if you're betting the teasers and the first two legs hit and now you're like overexposed on Eagles plus 8.5. If there's any fun way you could sort of middle that, I guess you could then also bet Chiefs minus 2.5.
Yeah.
And then try and middle it. Just so I don't know. I guess that's something to keep an eye on.
That would be super fun. That gives you a big window too. Like 2.5 to 8.5 is a huge window. You can try to probably, I would say at 2.5, right? And then you give yourself to 3 and 7 to work in as far as the middling opportunities.
Yeah.
That's all we got today. Let's see. Andy liked to pick out a Chuggy that he thought was really funny from him yesterday. So I'll pick out Andy's bet this week. Al, what are you doing as your Chuggy bet?
Mine is going to be. I was thinking I wanted to make it Denver. I might want to make it Miami. I think I'm going to make it Miami minus 9.5. It feels like cheating since that one's moved so much, but also it's a big number I'm laying anyway, so we'll just roll with it.
All right. What do you think Andy likes? Let's make Andy Tampa Bay plus 12.
You'd probably like that.
Yeah, I was gonna do the under 46, but I was on it.
That's what I thought you'd pick.
Myself. I'm gonna take Cleveland team total under 17.5.
Love it.
I like DTR. I'm rooting for him in the future, but getting 17 points against Pittsburgh this week seems like
Mike Tomlin and that Pittsburgh team in general is just the what's the guy's name? Aaron Paul meme from Breaking Bad. Like, you can't keep getting away with this. Like, it's so. I don't know how they do it, man.
I don't know either. They never lose. They never lose. So thank you guys for joining Chuggy Bets tonight. Hope you get all your NFL picks. We've been on a terror. So don't lose out on money. You guys need to pay your bills. The best way to pay bills is gambling. Everyone knows it's the safest, guaranteed way to pay your bills. Please gamble responsibly. I'm just kidding around here. Yes, feel free to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell any smunts you know about the podcast, and leave comments. We love them. 5-star reviews, all that good stuff. And good night, Joey.
Yeah. Cheers. Did you hear Andy's comment about going in on Nevada again last night?
I did. He's an addicted. He's addicted, and it's so great. It's Nevada of all places. We're like gambling and making bad decisions lives in Las Vegas. I know it's not Las Vegas, it's Reno.
Yeah.
But yes,
Vegas, little city.
I heard him. He can't stop betting Nevada. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.